Time now. Here we go. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I am Harvey Ferdman, president of the Maryland Heights Township Democratic Club. And we also meet jointly with these events with the Pre-Core Democratic Township Club. Sydney Jackson, president, would you like to say a few words, Sydney?
Sure. Thank you all for joining us this evening.
Good. Okay, and we will proceed to the Pledge of Allegiance to start our meeting. So if you would join me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so I can find the right button. Here we go. Okay, we have quite a extensive program this evening. I'm looking for some particular people. If first off, are there any elected officials who would like to introduce themselves?
Hi, Jeffrey Spector with the Parkway School Board. Just wanted to do a quick introduction. I know there's some people on here that I see some familiar faces. I'm up for re-election here on April 8th and just wanted to come say hi. Yeah, many of you know what I'm about, but I will certainly drop my Facebook page into the chat for anybody that's interested. I don't want to take up too much of your time as I know there's a lot on the agenda.
Jeffrey, if you want to take another minute or two to talk about your priorities, that'd be fine.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, I have been on the Parkway School Board now for 3 years, running for re-election. And some of the things that I am committed to are really ensuring a safe environment, for physical, mental, emotional health for our students, staff, faculty. Making sure that keeping lines of communication open and transparent with the community, supporting diversity, equity, inclusion, and opportunity by providing an unbiased education free from discrimination, hate, intolerance. Developing our already stellar reputation by advocating for allocation of resources responsibly, and giving our students really an opportunity to learn from our history. There's a lot of people that want to take that away, but to really ensure that our future can be bright. It has been a very worthwhile and humbling experience these past 3 years, and very hopeful to continue that experience for the next three.
Excellent. Anyone have any questions for Jeffrey? Hearing none, I have one question. There's also a mayoral race taking place in Chesterfield, which is a large portion of the the Parkway School District is in Chesterfield. I'm not going to ask you to comment on either of the candidates, but I'm just wondering, do you have any concerns or questions that we should be asking the candidates as it relates to the school district?
Obviously, from a mayoral perspective, we had a lot of issues with that new Chesterfield development, with the TIF and losing a lot of money for Parkway. And really, from a Parkway perspective, it's obviously our big question is, are you going to work with us? That's really our biggest question. Bob Nation was there for many years, and this one kind of just went by the wayside, at least from the Parkway taxes perspective. I think Parkway and Rockwood, given how big we are, might need a little bigger seat at the table sometimes, with some of these that are going to some of these decisions that are going to affect us more than others. But between the two candidates, that's really the big thing is how are you going to work with the school districts, especially in these uncertain times with the senior tax freeze that is really going to affect Parkway. And how are you going to work with us to ensure that we are prosperous going forward?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. And like I said, I'll drop the link in the chat for anybody that wants to visit the page.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other elected officials with us today?
Yeah, I'm a quasi-elected official. I was running for school board for Ladue. Thankfully, by the grace of God, there are only two of us running for two slots. So there's no place on the ballot. I'll be sworn in on April 9th, along with the other person running. Mr. Spector articulated basically all my views and values right there, which will plug in nicely with the Ladue School District. I was a teacher for 19 years in the Ladue School District, and as soon as I retired, I was committed to run for the school board. And just one additional plank I added is to pay the teachers more and give them a voice at the table, because a lot of their thoughts aren't heard, and they're going to be heard loud and clear now. Is one person.
Very good. Thank you. Any other elected officials or people running for office?
Good evening, everyone. I am Nicole Greer. Most of you have probably heard from me before, but I am a candidate for Creve Coeur City Council to represent Ward 2. And interestingly enough, Ward 2 is a part of the Parkway School District and Ladue School District. So I get to work with both of you all, and I am looking forward to doing that. Most of you all know I did serve on the Creve Coeur City Council from 2020 to 2024. And then I took off last year on an adventure that most of you are aware of and know about. And after that election, I received a call from the mayor that said we are going to have an open seat. And he asked if I would be willing to rejoin the council. And I agreed to do that. It's a good place to be. I enjoy serving and advocating for my community, both the residents and the people who work in our community and visit our community. So I would appreciate your support for April 8th. Again, I'm Nicole Greer, and it is Creve Coeur City Council to represent Ward 2.
Very good. Any other folks, elected officials or people running for office? Okay, hearing nobody at this point. I think, John Judy, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on here.
You're an elected person.
I'm a committee person. Yeah, so I'm committee man for Lafayette Township. And then
John's going to be one of our presenters this evening, but you're also the Senate
yep, and
district.
I'm also on the state party committee for Senate District 15.
Which most of us are in, I believe.
A lot of us. Sydney is also state party for 24, isn't it?
Yeah, for 24. So that some of us are also in 24.
Excellent. We're going to be
You're-
talking about the state party structure a little later this evening.
Yeah. John, are you also for Congressional District 2 on that
I
committee?
am. I'm also the chair of the 2nd Congressional District Committee.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other elected officials or folks running for office? Okay. Gretchen, Representative Gretchen Bangert, if you're on, please let us know. Gretchen was going to speak in favor of Proposition B on the county ballot. She's driving to some distant state somewhere, and she was going to try to, join us over the air. Looks like maybe she's having some problems and hasn't been able to jump in on this. So she is our representative to the county council. We also have Kenny Murdoch. Are you on?
Yes, I'm right here.
And Kenny, I believe, wants to speak against Proposition B.
I would.
Okay, if you could maybe kind of try to cover the pros and cons since Gretchen's not here I would kind of appreciate that, but the floor is yours.
Well, I don't really know any pros to cover. Prop B is bad. I would say it generally fits in the theme of overreach, and even the circuit, even the courts that looked at it said it was misleading. So when you look at it on ballot, it might have some very misleading language. But what Prop B actually does is gives the county council the right to fire directors. That's including the chief of police. That's including any director that was hired by Sam Page, county executive. Now, full disclosure, I do work for Sam Page. I work for the county executive, my day job, but I'm here as a volunteer just to tell you that Prop B would make a lot of problems. Prop B is bad, and Prop B would kind of unalign government, and it's not the kind of way we want to make St. Louis County better. And that's all I got for now. I put in a landing page. So yeah, the St. Louis County NAACP did say vote no on Prop B. Many other labor has come out vote no on Prop B. But I put a little page there, a web page that you can look at, and you can see some of our county directors that do a good job. So remember, B is bad. On April 8th in St. Louis County,
Yes.
vote no on Prop B.
Okay, anyone else have any comments? First off, any questions for Kenny? Any comments and okay, no
Yeah,
questions?
can you not
Yeah,
see
hi
me?
Nancy. Yep, you're on.
Oh, okay. I'm in agreement with Mr. Murdoch, and I say that from the standpoint of him. My husband and myself, both being retired St. Louis County employees, neither one of us were directors, department directors. But these are not court appointee, county executive appointees. The vast majority of these directors are career employees. It would be absolutely foolish. And I know that some of the things that county council complains about is that they want a department director to show up during budget conversations. And certainly when my husband was still working, he was higher up than I was in his department, but he was aware that they always sent somebody for budget discussions. Now, the fact that maybe they're not showing up, I can't answer that, but I hardly believe that the Prop B is the way to go. And I agree, it is overreach. It is inappropriate. These are employees who are experienced in their fields. You don't just, fire them because they didn't show up to a county council meeting to explain their budget.
Okay, I see a couple of hands raised. John Judy?
I
Thank
just
you,
wanted
Nancy.
to kind of rides on what Nancy was saying, but a lot of these positions, they're also already committee approved appointees, correct?
Absolutely.
So they've already had a voice on the people who are up there. They just
Yeah,
need to also be
just-
able to say later to fire them
Yeah,
too.
they've already voted to approve it most of the time, but they just want the chance to fire them also.
Just as a point of information, how long are the terms of these folks? Are they are these like permanent hires, or do these guys, have a custom of turning in their resignation on whenever there's a new county executive, and then they get rehired? Or
No, most of our directors stay on for long terms, and some have been directors through different county executives. But it's depending on the department. That really is depending upon the department.
okay,
These
Mark,
are
you have your
career
hand up?
employees.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, they are career.
I had a
Okay.
couple of questions. How many directors are there?
I do not have that data in front of me. I do not know exactly the exact number.
And so
But
so would it be that only the director can only be removed by the executive then?
yes.
And what if is there what
Well, also, if the
what-
director did
what-
something
what if-
illegal or wrong, they could be removed by the law, kind of, or by the,
Well,
things like that.
what if, we face a situation like New York City? I mean, the mayor's corrupt and he doesn't want to remove corrupt people. And, how do you handle that?
Elections have consequences, one, so
Well,
you vote people out, and second, we just went through that with the former county executive, Steve Stinger, and the county council did actions with legal and got him in trouble, and he had to step down and went to jail. So even with corruption, which St. Louis County has been through with the former county executive, Steve Stinger, there were systems in place to make sure everything was assured without this overreach. So, and also there were mechanisms to, if it was so important in county council, every 10 years, the county council can put things in the county charter. You have to remember, they want to put this in the county charter, which means it's going to be forever the law. And no matter what they say, the way it's written, it's very vague and misleading.
why is it vague and misleading, do you think?
Well, that's what the court determined. The court said it's vague and misleading. And I think it because it says some things about justice in there and has some language. It seems very digestible and flowery in there, but that language also says it might not raise taxes, which is not true. It will affect taxes.
So why wasn't it removed from the ballot then?
You'd have to read the court's opinion. I think you can get most of those online, I'm sure, but I can't speak for the court why they said, but there's some legal reason. I'll let the court speak for itself.
So so even if the county council has cause, like they know the guy took a bribe, they couldn't remove him?
Well, yeah, that's not the legislature's role. So there's the executive role, then the legislative role. The legislative role is not to hire and fire. This would change that and give the legislature new powers.
So there's no way to impeach these officials, even by a 2/3 vote or anything like that at the moment.
No, I don't think the impeached members of the county council you're talking about are
Talking about getting rid of a director. I mean, if they had evidence,
there's no impeachment clause of the director that I know of, but I can't quote that. That'd be quoting part of the charter. I'm not sure I know exactly.
So if the guy's indicted for bribery, the only thing that can happen is he goes to jail. Is that right? And otherwise he can serve if the executive doesn't remove him.
Hold on, could you get the last part? I couldn't quite hear because they got
Unless even if he's indicted for federal crimes or whatever crimes, the council couldn't remove him, or he'd only be removed if he goes to jail. Is that the situation currently?
Not sure how to answer that legal scenario, but the power to determine the firing of the directors is currently stored in the county executive, and we're trying to preserve it and keep it that way. This would change that.
Is there any way that, by a sufficient number of people on the county council that anybody could be removed? Would that be a compromise, or is this an absolutely one way or the other thing? I mean,
I'm not sure of some of the county council legal options there. That you're getting into the attorney realm, but I can't really speak to.
I understand the position is black and white right now, but would the county executive be willing to accept something more in the middle, or is that the way they want it and they're not going to let it change?
The way it's written, it's on the ballot. Right now, on the ballot on April 8th, what is to be determined is whether or not the county council will get brand new powers. So any imaginary scenario is not on the ballot. What's on the ballot is that.
Well, you said you sounded like you were kind of talking for the county executive, and I wondered if there was some compromise that could be reached off in the future, or if the county executive's position is that it's my job and nobody else's, no matter what happens.
No, let me clarify. I'm talking as a volunteer today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking as a volunteer. I was disclosing in my day job. I do work in St. Louis County government, but I'm talking as a volunteer tonight. I'm not.
I understand. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. Thank you.
Nancy, did you wish to speak again?
I was just going to add, I don't think this is about anything that any of the directors might be doing that's illegal. That would be a whole nother story, and I'm sure Mr. Page would move forward with having an investigation or what have you. It's
Or
not
the prosecuting attorney.
exactly. So we're not talking about removing them for any illegal, or they're not, excuse me. The county council's not talking about removing them for the purposes of criminal or fraud or something like that. These are career employees. They have expertise. They have experience. That's just totally, this is not the way it's done. It never has been the way it's done. And it is the prerogative of the county executive. Now, am I a total supporter of everything the county executive does? I will tell you I'm not. Nevertheless, this particular issue is totally wrong for county government, and it's wrong for St. Louis County residents. Thank you.
So I have a question for Nancy and Kenny. Are any of these positions appointed?
I guess at some point many years ago, the guy, for instance,
So-
who's
So if they're,
okay,
so if they're,
Murdoch,
so if
you
they're
may know what-
potentially, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you? It's okay.
So if they're political appointees, even as Kenny kind of referenced that maybe the county council at some point did have the option to approve these people. So they did have some say in their hiring.
Yeah, advise and consent. So yeah, the county
Okay.
executive will say this person is good for the job.
So,
Then they go in front of the the county council. The county council then gives their consent. Then the person's hired for the job and sworn in for the job.
okay, so sometimes I guess right now we have a Democratic county executive. We have a Republican president. Looking at what Trump and his allies have done with political appointees and all these other high-level directors, equivalent to our directors, but on a national level, you got to be careful that sometimes you may not like the rules when the other party's in charge.
Yeah, that's why changing things in the charter is it's a big step to take, changing the charter. So I think it's unwise to change the charter with this Proposition B. That's why I'm asking people to vote no, because of that. You don't know who's going to be in charge for the rest of the history of St. Louis County.
Right. It looks like it would bring some balance, checks and balance. I'm not arguing in favor or against, just it seems like it's an opportunity for some checks and balances, especially if these folks are political appointees.
The way the charter, which way are you talking about? I might be confused what you're saying.
I'm saying is, does it make sense to have some checks and balances if these folks are political appointees? Looking at what's happening on the national stage, what happens if we have that happen here and the slightly in the minority, just a little bit in the minority party doesn't like the appointees?
Okay, I think it's a little challenging for me to extend the parallel of the federal government to the county because there's a state in the middle. The state of Missouri has some issues and things like that. As far as does it expand checks and balances? No, there are already checks and balances. It's not like if the county council hears or sees something, they can't, one, have meetings with the county executive or the prosecuting attorney if there's corruptions. They still have action. This is just another in charter put in overreach. This would be more than balance. This is unbalancing what is already balanced kind of in the charter. Now, there is the role of the executive and there's a role of the legislative. This would change that.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm just, trying to present balanced here since Representative Banger's not here. Um,
Can I add one more thing, please?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just questioned something of my husband, and I think he clarified this. There is a number of people who were within county government as civil service employees. And these are the people, by and large, that were promoted into the directorship positions. And yes, I guess the county executive has that prerogative to do that, but nevertheless, I would imagine the recommendation came from the department and the personnel department as to, the appropriateness of putting them in this job. So, I mean, I personally know so many of these directors that have been there, were there when I was early in my career, and were still there after I left. We're talking career employees. Unless,
okay,
okay.
thank you. No, I get your point. Anyone else have questions or comments on Proposition B? Okay. Moving on, Rusty Levin, did you make it on? You had a number of people who were tentative. I think Rusty did not make it on. Rusty was going to talk about some of the demonstrations that have been going on in the area. If anyone has participated in any and you want to give us a report, that would be great. Speak up. Giving you a chance, okay. I do know that Connie Steinmetz, our state representative, is holding an event. Let me see if I can share that screen. Let's see.
So is Tracy McCreary, the state senate.
Ah, okay. Well, here's Connie's. Let's see, where is it? There we go. She's having a town hall on Saturday, March 22nd. So that's and if you have information on
I'm looking for it.
yeah, if you want to post, if you want, you can tell us about Tracy's event. And we also have John Judy and who's going to talk about the structure of the Missouri Democratic Party. I am happy to say that the St. Louis County Central Committee has been part of organizing these events, demonstration and educational events, and so it's useful to understand how the party is structured and where we can have our voices heard inside the party. So with that, John, do you need access to the screen?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay, let's give you a second to get that put together, unless Sydney can beat me to it. There we go. I got it. I'm making you a co-host. I think that'll work. Okay. The floor is yours. You should be able to share.
Yep. Everyone see the screen? I will say I stole this shamelessly from Diane Caston, who I saw was also on the call. Thank you very much for having created these nice graphics. So yeah, the Missouri Democratic Party, as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts in the way the state party is set up. Most of this is set up in statute or in our party bylaws. But the most important part is it all starts down here at the very bottom with the township clubs and the committee man and committee woman who represent all of us in the St. Louis County committee. So here at the township clubs, as most of you guys already know, You guys meet regularly, you talk about the issues, and then two of your members, hopefully they're members of your clubs, will take that information and share that with the rest of the party. So that's who the committee man and committee woman are. They are responsible for helping organize township clubs if they don't already exist. And then they also meet on a regular basis with the other township committee people in St. Louis County to form the St. Louis County Central Committee. There's one other major thing that these committee people do, and that is we organize our every 4 years the township caucuses, the mass meetings where we select the delegates who are going to go on to the state party convention for president and onto the DNC as well. Then next level up is the county level, and that's all of the members of all of the committee men and women from each township in St. Louis County. We all meet together once a month to discuss issues that are affecting Democrats across the entire county. We organize fundraising. We support townships by providing training, resources, and other support. And we also work with other Democratic organizations like Gateway Democrats, like Indivisible, and other groups to organize events like those, like the protests and that. We're also organizing a town hall for our absent representative here in CD2, Ann Wagner. And we do other events like that. Our galas are a really big fundraiser that's going to be coming up in May. And then we also help organize work for candidates as they're running. So last year, we were able to raise enough funds to open up 3 offices across the county. We had an office in North County, one in South County, and one in West County that Sydney was helping run as a field director. And we were able to use those offices as launching points for candidate door knocking events. We use them to host events, to do phone banks, and all sorts of other things. And that's really what the central committees for each of the counties is supposed to do. Is they're supposed to create a launching point for candidates to help get candidates off the ground and out and reach out to community members and get people to vote for Democrats. From the committee people, every committee person who is within a Missouri House Legislative District are also members of those legislative districts committees. These committees, their main purpose is to handle things if a representative is unable to continue to serve. If a representative resigns, moves out of state, or if, in worst case scenario, if one passes away, these legislative committees get together and meet and help select a new candidate who will run in the special election that a governor would call. I know there's one that's happening like that down in South County, hopefully sometime soon. And every committee person whose district overlaps that legislative district, they will have a say in who we select to run in that special election. So it's sort of like a primary, but it's a primary of the Democratic members. And hopefully those committee people are coming to your township clubs to talk about who are potential candidates, who Democrats in the area would like to see run. Similar to the House, to the State House legislative committees, there's also State Senate committees. These work in a very similar way. Every committee person whose township overlaps the state Senate district are members of the committee. And the State Senate Committee has 2 purposes. One of them is just like at the legislative district. If something happens and a state senator seat is open and there needs to be a special election, they help select the Democratic candidate who's going to run for state party or for state senate in that special election. The other purpose of the state senate district committees is to select members of the state, the Missouri Democratic Party committee, the state committee. There will be from each Senate district, there's again a committee man and committee woman who become members of the state Senate or the Missouri Democratic Party committee. There's also the congressional district congressional committees. This is the CD1, CD2 federal congressional committees. Again, they are made up of all the committee people whose districts overlap a congressional district. With both CD1 and CD2, they both span across counties. So CD1 encompasses a large part of North St. Louis County as well as all of St. Louis City. So all of the ward committee people from St. Louis City are members of this congressional committee, as well as the St. Louis County committee men and women who live within or whose districts overlap CD1. And same thing with CD2. Everyone from St. Charles County, from Franklin, from Warren County, they're all members of the congressional committee, as well as every St. Louis County committee person who's in CD2. These committees, they organize the congressional level caucuses during presidential election years. So after the township mass meetings, the townships each select delegates to go on to the congressional district meeting and to the state convention. And it's at these congressional district meetings that most of our representatives who are going to go on to the Democratic National Convention are selected. And we also, in CD2, we've got a small committee that also is working to do fundraising, to create events, to do advertising in order to work on behalf of getting Democrats elected in CD2, even when there's not a candidate actually running. Then at the state party level, there's two layers to the state party. So we've got the state committee, which is made up of all of the committee people that were elected out of the Senate districts. There's also an executive board that's made up of some permanent members, such as the chair, vice chair, and whatnot of the Missouri Democratic Party, as well as the chair of the state Young Democrats group and several other organizations. And there are also members of the executive board who are selected by either the chair or the state party. Or the state committee, and we elect those members. We just had our election 2 weekends ago. Yeah, 2 weekends ago to elect the members of the executive board. Together, the executive board and the state committee work together to set policy for Democrats across the whole state. We are right now working on creating a permanent office in Jefferson City. We organize the conventions. Thank you, Sydney, for sharing that. Those are our current board members for the Missouri Democratic Party. Last presidential election, we had to organize the presidential primary because the state said that the parties have to run that instead. We're hoping to get that changed, but that's going to be up to the legislature and the Republicans in the legislature. But that's what the state party does, is we help organize these large statewide events. We set policy, we do communications, and we work to get Democrats elected statewide and at the Senate, the Missouri at the Senate level as well. There's also sub-organizations under the MDP that work specifically with the House Democrats and with the House or with the Senate Democrats to coordinate with them and get Democrats elected at the state and House level as well. And then at the very, very top level is the National Committee. There are 5 members from Missouri on the National Democratic Committee, the Democratic National Committee. There are Chair and Vice Chair Russ and Yvonne, as well as 3 members who are elected at our state convention. I know Mary Elizabeth Dorsey. Sydney, do you remember the other 2 off the top of your head?
Ken Bacchus and Nanda Nunley.
Yes, thank you. They were elected at the last convention to be members of the Democratic National Committee, and they meet quarterly with committee members from across the entire nation to help organize Democrats nationwide and get hopefully a Democratic president elected very soon. So I don't know if you've seen the name Ken Martin. He is the chair of the Democratic National Committee. He was just elected. He is out of Minnesota, if I remember right. And he is working nationwide to make sure that state parties across the nation are starting to get funded. So for a while, the DNC was focusing on swing states and seats that they were absolutely sure they could flip. Ken Martin wants to take a broader look and go for a much broader strategy and boost state parties across the entire state. So we're really hoping to see a lot come out of that. We're already seeing a lot of extra support from the national level here in Missouri. So I'm really hopeful that we're going to see a lot of improvement here in the state. And that wraps up the main part of the structure. So like I said, the base of everything is you guys here at the township level. We would not be able to do anything without all the work that you guys put in here. And I really thank you for all turning out and talking about this and talking about all these issues like Prop B and all that as well. We wouldn't be here without you guys.
Well, thank you. Very helpful. Are there any questions for John?
I went through that kind of quickly, so
I have a question.
sure.
I'm always a little bit confused on between the state elected people and the party people when it comes to the term caucuses. Are there really 2 sets of caucuses, or just, I mean, what's that about, and what's that relationship? And how does one get on a caucus?
So there's a whole bunch of different sets of caucuses. So at the state party level, there's the state party caucuses. Those are organized by members of the state party, also committee members who are elected out of each of the Senate districts. Anyone who is a member of a particular group, like the LGBTQ caucus, we've got a union caucus, we've got a rural caucus. They will organize members of that community who are in the state party, as well as bring in members from outside the party or the state party committee, and create a caucus that will discuss issues relevant to that group. And then if you wanted to be a member of that, there is a link on the state party website. I will try and find with contact information for the chairs of those.
Okay.
And if you reach out to them, they will give you information on when they meet and how to participate with those groups.
Okay. Do you know if they publish their minutes, or?
I expect they need to. I'm not sure where that is, but I will try and find that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I really, to me, that seems like an opportunity for people to get involved if they are particularly motivated by certain issues or sets of issues. That would be a good place for people to plug in. Okay, yeah, and be able to coordinate statewide instead of just Not that local coordination is bad, but statewide coordination might be more effective on some of these issues.
Agree.
I see hands up. Mark, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if we could get the written materials that were just presented.
Yeah, I can go and send that out to Harvey, and he can send that out to the list.
Thank you.
Okay. And Sydney?
I was just gonna mention that at our last state committee meeting, our chair, Russ Carnahan, he gave us a list of like 14 different like groups of like identities of people that he wants us to identify a leader from in each Senate district. And so I don't know, John, do you have that list? He said he was going to send it out and I don't see it anywhere in my email, but
I don't think I've gotten it yet either.
well, once we get the list, I will be asking everybody if you know leaders in these groups. So like the LGBTQ community, young people, all of those different good things. If you know people that are leaders in those communities, or you're a leader in a community like that, let me know so I can let Russ know so we can organize.
Okay, good. Local is good. Statewide might be even better. Any other comments, questions? Okay, well that pretty much ends our
I
formal
think Judy
program.
Campbell wanted to say something.
Oh, Judy?
Hi. I missed the part where it said, has anybody done any demonstrations or protests? The microwave was on and I couldn't hear because we were eating. But we did attend the Florissant protest rally in Florissant for the federal workers and everything in support of the union AFGE. And that went really well. Sam Page was there. Another House rep. Do you remember who that was?
No.
He was there. There were some union officials also. It was about 300 people. It was pretty good. And I was aware also of, I guess it's South County, he was letting people know about the same day though. I think that's March 8th. There was at least 3 or 4 protest rallies going on. The other one was at the Tesla dealership and off of South Lindbergh and South County. And of course, there was the big women's movement in Brentwood. So I was just wondering, is St. Louis County Dems doing anything to let us know more? Because I'm hearing it from different groups, Jobs with Justice, National Council of Jewish Women, and others. If there's a way to have, I think there's one coming up this Sunday with the Postal Service workers downtown Sunday, 1 to 3. To organize all the groups and put dates and locations. I think that would be helpful for those of us who want to do more than make phone calls. Also, I was aware of this past weekend, I think Notorious Nasty Women, which is a group, had, and I guess it was a national movement, to send postcards to the White House, to Trump, saying fire Musk, and to put whatever they wanted on, put as many as they wanted to. I guess they will be receiving those postcards. It was connected with Ides of March. So they should be receiving them. They were supposed to be mailed on Saturday. So they should have been, the White House will be receiving them Monday and Tuesday. And again, it was something that somebody can do, that anybody can do, because it doesn't cost but 56 cents to mail a postcard. And they said they were letting people, you were going to put whatever was upsetting you in the postcard and just hope, if nothing else, they'd had a count that there's all these people who are not maybe sending in emails, who are not out there protesting, but are very unhappy with the current state of the government. And so that could be something we could do under Ann Wagner, just swamp her with postcards that we're not happy because she doesn't attend town hall meetings. Swamp her with, our feelings, even if as long as she's aware that there's a whole bunch of silent majority, that sort of thing. Anyway.
Nicole, did you want to answer about
Yeah,
the
I
list?
just wanted to answer, or I guess you could too as well, John. I forgot you're on here. So as far as the St. Louis County Democrats, we are, and feel free to jump in and add anything I may miss, John Judy. We are partnering with many of these organizations. Now, I will tell you, there are like protests popping up all over the place. So we're kind of vetting them on, on an individual basis. And as you were talking and said that, I did go ahead and pull up our website and see that we do have a federal workers rally on our website, March 28th. That was the protest that I saw. But I do know, so I don't know how active you are on social media, but I know John Judy does some of our tweeting, and also on our Facebook and our Instagram, we're trying to, promote those protests that we vetted and that we're organizations that we're partnering with. So I would just say, stay tuned. We can certainly, as your committee woman, Judy, I can certainly forward emails that I'm receiving. You can also sign up to get emails from St. Louis County Democrats. I think it comes out, is that every Friday, John?
Yeah.
Okay, so every Friday there's an email that we get, just kind of talking about what we're doing and what's going on and those kind of things. So, like I said, we are definitely partnering with those organizations and having a voice in that as well, and trying our best to get that information out. We can also, I could do a better job of posting it on like our Creve Coeur Township group page. I don't know if you've joined that or not.
Well,
we
for
also
one thing, I'm on Ward 4, you're in Ward 2, so you're not my council person.
No, but I'm
but
talking
anyway.
about for the township, not
Yeah.
for this,
Oh,
not
yeah,
for
yeah,
city
yeah.
council, but
Okay,
just
okay.
Creve
Yeah.
Coeur Township. I know we have
Yeah.
all these jurisdictions.
Yeah.
So we can
I-
certainly start, make sure we're posting that. We have a Facebook page and a Facebook group, so we
Okay,
can definitely get that information out to both of those channels.
Good. I'm hearing from so many NPOs, NGOs independently. So that's what I
Okay.
would like. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but I know a lot of people who aren't. I send out about 20 or 25 people in the Creve Coeur area when I probably send it to you even.
Yeah, I get your legislative
Yeah.
updates for sure.
Yeah.
And I appreciate those. So
Yeah. And so
yeah, we can definitely, like I said, we definitely do a better job of getting that word out. But like I said, our St. Louis County Democrats website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
I think John just said something about Blue Sky. I haven't gotten
Yeah.
over there yet. So many things. So
I think it would be a good idea to do something for, to Ann Wagner. And the postcard seemed like a good way to do it because they were doing it to Trump for all these people. Anybody can afford a couple of dollars for a couple of postcards. And under the postcard, Notorious Nasty Women ones, if you wanted to sign your name, you could. If you didn't, you didn't have to. They let everybody decide. If you wanted to send one postcard, fine. If you wanted to send 10, fine. The thing was to get the attention of whoever you're sending it to, and hopefully it's covered by the media, and almost everybody was not for Elon Musk, not for all these layoffs. My own daughter was USDA and she was laid off with no notice, effective immediately, 3-day weekend, you're fired, Now, of course, she's been brought back more under administrative leave until April 18 if you're USDA. But you don't know, they'll come up with another reason to fire them all. But it'll be not from poor performance. So, but yeah, there's a lot of us who are trying to do as much as we can. And, the more options you have, the more involvement you can have.
I do want to add to what Nicole was saying by saying also we've got a mobilize set up for the St. Louis County. And if you sign up for that, you will get emailed information about any protests or other events that we're holding like that as well as if you sign up for our main mailing list. Lois, you had something to say?
Yes, I do. Two things really. For local
things, if you're interested in seeing what's happening, protests, demonstrations, meetings, etc., Zoom calls, go to Mobilize, go to the website Mobilize, and then you can put in your zip code and it shows you things that are happening near you and you can pick and choose among them. It shows you a variety of things. But I wanted to let you know about something I am doing. It's almost too late for anybody to join in unless you can donate money. But this is I think, a good opportunity to the best attempt to take back the United States House of Representatives. There are 3 open seats there. There are 3 good Democrats running for those open seats. I am sending 75 postcards to Florida for Gay Valamont. If I hope she can win. That's District 1. She's running to get the seat that Matt Gaetz vacated when he resigned from Congress. And then Josh Wheel is running in District 6 in Florida. He is running to fill the seat that was vacated because Donald appointed the woman.
Attorney General, right.
Yeah. And then also Blake Gendebien is running in New York. All 3 of those elections will take place on April the 1st. So I've got to put my postcards in the mail tomorrow, but I've got them all written out. I got addresses from an organization called People Power United. And, you know, what I did was I joined in their Zoom meeting and they told us what to say for the postcards for Gay Valamont's voters and what to say for the voters in Josh Wheel's district. And the best thing right now is if you can donate to Gay Valamont or Josh Wheel or Blake Gendebien, it would be wonderful if we could take those 3 seats. Then we would have control of the House of Representatives, and we can get rid of Mike Johnson, who is Donald's lackey.
Right. There's also a Supreme Court race in the state of Wisconsin where our daughter lives, and she's talking about that and how you're allowed to vote for the Supreme Court justices in the state of Wisconsin, and it's between
Susan Crawford is the Democratic candidate.
Here's my husband, Greg Campbell. We've been listening and eating.
Yeah, it's one of the most critical races in the country. It's April the 1st. Susan Crawford is the candidate supported by the Wisconsin Democratic Party. Elon Musk is pumping millions of dollars to try and defeat her. This election is going to determine the political balance of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So things like reproductive freedom and fair maps and things of that nature are at stake in this election. So Susan Crawford, again, is her name.
Yeah, for fundraisers. And again, and this is, I think, the first week of April, isn't it?
April 1st.
April.
Early voting starts tomorrow,
Right.
and April 1st is election day there.
Yeah. So more ways to try to keep things a little on the even keel instead of crazy times. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Dave and Dale, did you have a comment? Your mic's open?
No.
Okay. Any other comments, announcements? While people are thinking about that, I have something else I want to share with you all. As soon as I can find the right screen here. Of course, it's hiding now. Hold on a moment. I will find it. Let's see what happened to it. There's this thing called 5Call, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I checked around with some of my progressive friends, and they said, "Yeah, go for it. Talk about it. It's a good thing." I have not personally used it, but I started to fool with it a little bit. Here it is. Check this out. You put your location in, and let's see. Enter manually 63017. That's where I live, and it gives you all these things that you can make phone calls to the right people. Somewhere in here, it gives you all of your representatives, and you can pick which representative. I'm sorry if I'm moving too fast. You can pick which representative you want to make a call to, and it works. So very very useful. And again, I put out some feelers to progressive folks I know, and they were like, "Yeah, it's a good app. Go ahead and use it." It's an app you can load on your phone, so it can make calls right from your phone. Called Five Calls, I believe is the name of it. Let's see if I can get this up here.
Yeah, I put the link in the chat.
Oh, good. Having a little bit of trouble here getting this black thing. There we go. Disappear. So it's 5 calls, and it is an app that you can load.
Right here.
Okay. Any other comments, announcements?
Okay.
Well, I want to thank everyone and all of our presenters. We had quite an array of things here tonight. Thank you. Remember to vote on April 8th. I don't know is there early voting in the county election?
Yeah,
Yes.
in-person voting starts on the 25th.
I looks like farts.
So it's on the 24th? for early
Starts on the
voting?
25th.
25th,
Tuesday.
that's a Tuesday.
Yep.
Right?
Satellite
Okay.
locations aren't available until the 31st, though. So you would have to go to the Board of Elections if you vote prior to March 31st.
Excellent. And then there
And
was
there will
a
not be
question.
as many available as there were in the November election. I think there are only like 7 satellites for the municipal elections.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, there was a question about the gala for this year. And John, was that you answering that the information will be available soon?
Yep, it should be up later this week. John's working on putting the page together now. John Bosch.
Okay. Okay.
It's May
And-
17th. That's right, John, right? Okay. If someone was wanting the date, it's May 17th.
Sounds right to me.
At the Westport Sheraton Chalet will be the location.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, with that, I'll leave the meeting open just for a minute for anyone that wants to copy the chat down or save it. And
No vote for Robbie there.
then we'll be in good shape.
That's not enough.
Okay. All right. Well, everyone have a great a great month. See you next month.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.